Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, I want to take this time and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out, man. And I hope you sincere brothers and sisters is edified by this word. And the name of the lesson tonight is going to be called Life Itself Will Teach You the Hardest Lessons, and how we learn from it is very important. That's right, man. Let me say it again. Tonight's word is going to be called Life Itself Will Teach You the Hardest Lessons, and how we learn from it is very important. Um, in life, man, you've heard the term life experiences is your best teacher, okay? And life experience is your best teacher. Why? Because life is nothing but a lot of learning opportunities and good and bad experiences that come with that. And if you're fortunate to live long enough, you'll see what I mean. Okay? In the 47, almost 48 years that the Lord have allowed me to be on this earth, man, I can tell you life experiences will always be your best teacher. And I can tell you, man, life is nothing but a lot of learning opportunities, good and bad experiences that come with that. In the life that we live, you have your highs, you have your lows, you have your in-betweens. You have the good, the bad, and ugly. This is all what comes with life. And the most important thing is we have to learn from it. We have to learn from our highs. We have to learn from our lows. We have to learn from our in-betweens. We have to learn from the good, the bad, and ugly. Okay? We have to learn from that is the key. Okay? We have to learn from our good experiences and our bad experiences. That's why life itself will teach you the hardest lessons, man. And I'm going to give you some examples of life itself will teach you the hardest lessons. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriages, man, life will teach you uh, the hardest lessons, man. A lot of people are not willing to fight for their marriage. A lot of people will give up on their marriage. A lot of people will give up on their relationships. And see, you find out later on in life that was a hard lesson you had to learn, because you realize, man, marriages, you don't, in my humble opinion, you don't give up on marriages, man. You try your best to save it. Just like in life, you learn hard lessons when you're parenting. You learn valuable lessons parenting. When we all first became parents, we wasn't geniuses at being parents. We didn't have the proper experience as being parents. We just did what we had to do. And in life lessons, man, as a parent, all of us know, can attest to the hardest lessons that we learned with that. Some of the careers that I've had, the jobs that we've had, we've took jobs that we knew we wasn't gonna like, but because we had to put food on the table, we took these jobs. The job was stressful. The job just wasn't a good fit, but the money was decent enough for you to make a living, so you took that job. But the lesson that you learned from that is it affected your health. You were either stressed out or a whole lot of different things, man. So in life, it will teach you the hardest lessons, just like your freedom and going to jail. If you've ever been to jail before, that's a hard lesson life have taught you. And I've been there, man. And let me tell you something, man. I wouldn't wish jail on an enemy. When I went to jail, man, that was a hard lesson for me to learn, to realize that jail was not a place for me. It was not a place for me, man. But you had individuals in there was like it was home to them. Like it was a party to them. To me, I'm in there like, man, how could people be in here? I was in jail for a day and a half, man, and I'm gonna tell you, it seemed like it was the longest day and a half I ever experienced, man. But, even like housing, the living areas that you lived in, can be a hard lesson. You move into an area that seemed decent, shortly after you find out you in a war zone area. That can be a hard lesson to learn. Also, if you dealing with slumlords, dealing with your rowdy neighbors, man, just your housing and your living situation, things of that nature, man. It will teach you a hard lesson, man. Those that indulge in alcohol and drugs, man. If alcohol, leads you to a point where you're violent, you're in trouble, you're hurting yourself, or drugs for that matter, depends on what it does to your body. It's a hard lesson that you're going to learn from that. Those that like to party and nightlife, this stuff catches up to you, man. Just because you 19, 20, 21, 22, partying like that might seem sweet, but by the time you get 40 years old, you start feeling the effects of running the streets and doing alcohol and drugs and being in these toxic relationships and these weird housing situations. You being a parent, running the streets and letting your kids raise themselves, taking jobs that you ain't gonna really like, just a whole lot of different things in life, man, will teach you the hardest lessons, and how we learn from those lessons is very important, man. In Job 12 and 12, it says, with the ancient is wisdom, and linked in days is understanding. That's cold blooded, man. Job 12 and 12, it says, with the ancient is wisdom, and linked in days is understanding. In other words, man, if you live long enough and through your experiences, you will become wise. That's why you see on the screen it says experience, man. It's the best teacher, man, in life. You see? In Psalms 38, verse 25, and it reads, I've been young, and now I am old, and I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor beg for bread. Listen to that, man. Psalms 38 and 25, I've been young, and now I am old. Now think about that. This is somebody that was young and have grown to be old. So from the time that this person was young to the time that they old, life itself have taught him the hardest lessons. His experiences in life have taught him. And what it says, and I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor beg for bread. You see that? That's cold, man. In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 and 16, it says, be careful how you live, not as unwise, but wise. Verse 16, make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. You see that? So when you go back to Ephesians 5, verse 15, it says, be careful how you live. That's very important. Why? Because once again, life experiences is going to be your best teacher, and life itself will teach you the hardest lessons, man. So you got to be careful how you move out here, man. Because later on, and it says, be careful how you live, not as unwise, but wise. You see that? If you live out here unwise, you're not gonna your life experience is not gonna be your best teacher, because you ain't learning nothing from it. And life itself, you ain't gonna realize that life teach you the hardest lessons because you are here unwise, man. But if you wise, you're gonna understand and know your life experiences is your best teacher. If you careful and you wise, you gonna understand life itself gonna teach you the hardest lessons, man. Cold blooded, man. And in Proverbs 21 and 21, it says, he that follow after righteousness and mercy finds life, righteousness, and honor, man. You see that? So if you predicate your life on righteousness, you predicate your life on mercy, okay, you'll be able to find life, righteousness, and honor. So with your experiences, man, if you understand life itself will teach you the hardest lessons, and you learn from it, you gain wisdom from that. And then it goes right into your life experiences being your best teacher. You see? So at the end of the day, man, we have to really look at our life itself, you know, up until this point. If you're in your 30s, look at life all the way up to now and see uh, the hardest lessons that you've had to learn and the hardest lessons that you experienced. And the most important thing is how you was able to learn from it. You know, I was able to learn from my marriage mistakes. I was able to learn from my parenting mistakes. I was able to learn from my career job mistakes. I was able to learn, okay, going to jail. I was able to learn when it come to houses and renting houses and dealing with property management companies and slumlords. I learned from that. I learned that alcohol and drugs is not for me. Never indulged in either one. You know, I used to party real hard from 20 years old to 31 years old, 32 years old. Man, I was in the streets heavy. You know what I'm saying? And I learned a valuable lesson from that. You know, that wasn't. You know, I've just spent a lot of years and a lot of time, man, wasted time, man. And I learned from all the lessons in life, and I'm still learning as we speak, man. So, you sincere brothers and sisters out there, man, please understand life itself will teach you the hardest lessons, and how we learn from it is very important, man. I'm telling you, life experience is always going to be your best teacher because life is nothing but a lot of learning opportunities, good and bad experiences, man. Trust me. I hope you sincere brothers and sisters was edified by this word, and we give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out. And hey, listen, man, keep Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushua, first in everything you do, and stay prayed up, man, at all times. Already. Shalom. Word.